Hello fellow pagan pals, Bella Rosa here for another episode of My Pagan Pal Crafts and Such, Pagan Pillow Talk Edition, where I talk about my experiences as a witch, as a pagan, and other witchy related topics. Recently I was out with my friends and we started on a topic of how we got together as a group. We started to briefly talk about the importance of religious acceptance when it came to our friendship. And I remember thinking, wow, how fortunate I am to have such a great group of friends. I love these guys. They accept me in my spirituality and in my religion as I would expect any friend to do for me. So that got me kind of thinking, well, what if I wasn't in such a fortunate situation? Suppose I was put in that awkward limelight and people want to know the 411 on paganism. How do I address that? Whether you are pagan loud and proud or you're still in the broom closet, whether you were asked directly or indirectly, whichever way you were put in the spotlight, it can be an awkward and intimidating situation because people are unpredictable. But it's this unpredictability that I'm hoping to help you to overcome today with a few tips. So here we go. Number 1, being well read is good, but being well rehearsed is even better. There is a huge gap that exists between being knowledgeable about something and actually applying it in a real life situation. In order to bridge that gap as it pertains to paganism, it's important to have a script and have that script memorized. So sum it up. What is paganism to you? 1 to 3 sentences in layman's terms so that it can be easily understood by others. And actually write it out and then apply it to memory. Say it out loud. Like really, say it aloud when you're in the shower, when you're cooking, when you're cleaning, when you're, going to work in the morning or coming home from work in the evening. It's important for you to actually say it loud, even in front of a mirror. And don't just do it for a day or two. Do it every day for a month, 2 months, 3 months. And the idea behind this is to have something that's an automatic response so that you're not stuck on your words. And this helps you to accomplish 3 things. 1, it'll help you just briskly and nonchalantly kind of move a conversation along without, like I said, you tripping on your words. 2, it will help you to determine who is generally curious about your religious beliefs or your spiritual beliefs and who wants to start a religious quarrel with you. You're already going to have your words lined up. So while your poker face is already up, everyone is actually revealing their true nature right there on their face. So you might get a, that's interesting, or one of those reactions, or kind of that, you know that look, right? All right. And that will help you feel out the atmosphere of the given situation. It'll help you just to figure out, okay, is this going to be a friendly conversation or is it going to be a little bit more of an aggressive nature? Should I just bail? The third way this tip will help you is that if you are going to be faced with some aggression, it does let everybody know that you know your stuff and you are prepared to defend yourself if the situation arises. It does happen, unfortunately. Tip number 2, avoid trigger words, evade the D-bomb. So unfortunately, when words come up like witch and Wicca and witchcraft and Wiccan or even pagan, words like devil worship and demons pop into people's minds. And when that happens, they raise their defenses. For some of you, the point of this conversation may be to actually get people to look past the label and to listen. And for others, it may just be to take that limelight right off of you. You may not want any attention whatsoever. Using these trigger words initially, depending on the crowd, may not help you out. So instead, try using something like, I'm a spiritualist, I follow an earthbound religion, I worship the earth. Now, choosing something like this initially to say has nothing to do with covering up who you are or being ashamed of your spirituality or your religion. It has to do with getting a scope on the given atmosphere and what you should do next and how to act on it. I'll give you an example. So this is a story from my mom. She was at physical therapy once. I do have permission, by the way, to share her stories with you guys. And it's around Easter time, and there's a group of these people who are talking about their plans for Easter. So one woman turns to my mom and says, "So what are your plans for Easter?" And then my mom kind of looks over and says, "Well, I don't celebrate Easter." "What? What do you mean you don't celebrate Easter? Why?" "Well, I'm pagan." "You're pagan? I thought you were all dead." Can you believe that? I mean, in physical therapy, come on. Now, I can't help but wonder if my mom had used a phrase like, "I'm a spiritualist," the conversation wouldn't have gotten so aggressive and a little insulting. If you are looking for a fight, then by all means, you can use these trigger words. If you're looking to get a rise out of somebody, go ahead, knock yourself out. But in most cases, people don't want that kind of attention, especially if you are still in the broom closet. Now, in my case, I haven't really met with any sort of aggression. When I say my line, I follow an earthbound religion. I usually get a lot of curiosity, people who are just generally wanting to know more. Sometimes I even run into other witches. That's always like kind of cool. Like, what? Really? No, really? Cool, man. That's cool. That is not the case for everyone. So if you want to play it safe or you're concerned about your safety, avoid using trigger words. Tip number 3, hop on your broomstick instead of getting swept away in the hype. Sometimes people don't want to talk. They don't want to listen. They don't want to learn. Maybe they've had too much to drink. Maybe they just want to make a mockery of you and your religion or just bully you. If you find yourself in such a predicament, given the social event, and you feel yourself getting sucked into the gravitational pull of a religious debate, take a deep breath and walk away. It's not worth the aggravation. And I'll give you another story from my mom. One day she is at a blueberry festival, of all places. And, the sun is shining, there's music playing. My mom is in the mood. She walks up to the table and she's like, "Wow, look at all the stuff you have. It's so nice." And the lady starts up with a friendly response. "Oh, thank you, and then she spots my mom's pentacle. My mom kind of sensed the air shift a little bit. And in her head, she's kind of like, "Whoa, what just happened here? Something doesn't feel right. Something's going to happen. Something's going on." The woman goes, "Oh, what an interesting looking necklace. What is that?" "Oh, well, it's a pentacle. It's a symbol of my religious beliefs." "Well, what does it mean?" "Well, there's a lot of schools of thought behind it. Which would you like?" "The one where it's related to the devil." And my mom was just shocked. Is this happening right now? I mean, I'm at a freaking blueberry festival here, the sun is shining, the music's playing, people are shoving blueberries down their throat, kids are running around with their faces painted. What? She kept her cool and she just started what she thought was just a very light educational type of conversation. But during the conversation, she's noticing that this woman is getting a little charged, and she starts bringing in other people behind the table, and other people who are just like walking by, they just had nothing to do with the conversation initially, overhear them and start just coming up to her and start working against my mom. Now, at that point, my mom recognized, whoa, this is crazy. She had like 8 people around her. The woman behind the counter wound up calling her a heathen. At that point, my mom had to walk away. She had to walk away. Mind you, she said her piece, but eventually she just walked away, because when you're faced with a gang of people who are just like, "You're a witch, you heathen," you kind of like, whoa, what century are we in right now? So she just determined, hey man, this is not worth it. This is not worth my aggravation. I'm here for blueberries. Sometimes a situation can just get out of hand, and that's exactly what happened with my mom. So the best thing that she determined to do at that time was just to walk away. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the aggravation. It's not worth the potential danger. And that's all I have for you guys today on this session of Pagan Pillow Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any tips, please leave them in the comment box below. You never know, you can help somebody out one day. And if you like what you saw here today and you want to be kept up to date on the latest episodes, then what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, like up this video, and I'll see you next time for another episode of My Pagan Pal Crafts and Such. Bye.